Austin, let's talk about grading Cornwall and Devon. And since they're a conjoined dragon, they're going to get 1 score.
Yes, absolutely. So you're going to be leading us off on this grade.
Yes.
Tell me about the design. How are you feeling about it, Bryce?
So I want to preface, I'm not a big fan of their design. I actually really enjoyed the design of the dragons in general. And
chunky.
They're chunky. And honestly, like if I was giving those dragons, I gave them a score, but then we discussed before the podcast that we're just going to do it. I gave those dragons a 7 in design. I give Devon and Cornwall a 3.
A 3?
Yes. Like I know they're supposed to be quirky and weird. It's just, I still don't like the design of them. Like,
I'm clearly a little bit more okay with the weirdness. And if you're going with the concept of a multi-headed dragon, that's setting yourself up for a bit of a challenge. That represents some ambition.
Yeah.
It gets even harder when you're talking about 2 dragons that for some reason have like radically different like head and neck shapes. And so maybe I'm just comparing like the reality of it to the conception of it. But I think that this actually came together really, really well. And that the design of it is still like comfortable, but it's wacky. So it's subverting the horror of their reality. And that is another aspect that if this movie got the PG-13 plus like Rickles and Idol were allowed to riff like that, I'm sure that they would have got into some of the humor relating to having like a shared body a little bit more.
I'm sure.
So I wish we could have had that. But as far as the design goes, I don't mind it. It's not like a grand slam in my book, but I actually think it's good. In fact, I actually think it's very good. I'm giving it a 7.
Dang. Now, I will say, I give a lot of the credit that you were giving in the X Factor, but that's just for me. I personally am just not a fan of the particular design.
I like it. I like the wackiness. I think that's the word.
No, that's fair.
Now, special effects, the animation, the rendering of this creature.
So I do keep going back and forth because I mean it's late 90s, like it's not like it's during the Disney Renaissance. So I mean like it's not anything special, but it's better than a lot of the stuff that we've been seeing of late, special effects wise. And it's fun, like they look pretty good, especially compared to the ogre. So I gave it a 6.
6 out of 10.
I think it's good.
Respectable. I actually think the animation in this movie is fine, but that is sort of relative to the period where, especially with that Disney Renaissance that we keep referencing to, like the heat was on. Like there was a lot of pressure to put out a quality product here. And I'm sure that a lot of those animators were abused to get us there. But the final result, like, it's not a hard movie to look at.
No.
And the animation is fairly fluid. In the case of Cornwall and Devon, I think that a lot of the fun of those characters actually comes in how they're realized and animated. I'm also thinking about their musical number, where they're in a bunch of different costumes and contexts and all of that.
Yeah.
Then again, I want to give that. So that's like partially to the design, partially getting a little credit there for the character, but I'm also going with a 6 on the special effects score.
Respectable.
Now, character, what are you thinking?
You know, they're the second best characters in the movie. And for me, when it's a second best character, you clearly can't get a top score because you're not the highlight character-wise in the film.
Disagree with that, but this is your methodology.
This is my methodology. But I do think that they're genuinely, like, you get a lot of personality. You get a lot of character development. I think it's near perfect. It's a 9 for me. I'm not going to give it that 10, but I think it's a 9.
9 out of 10. Wow. That's quite the statement.
It's almost as good as Caraxes.
You said it. Caraxes just gets to hang out with that score that we gave him before we'd figured out our grading.
He is our dragon that has the sunglasses on.
Okay, now I'm not quite so hot on the character.
Okay.
I like it.
Yes.
And I had fun with them in this movie. They have a lot of personality. And again, their musical number is fun, but as we already outlined, I'm not as into it as you. I'm giving them a 7.
A 7.
Yes.
Dang.
We're only 2 points apart, but
It's a talking dragon. You always talk about how much you love talking dragons.
and I mean they are just like oozing with personality. They really are.
And they have the character development. They hate each other, and then they realize they have to work together to get past their differences.
Okay, you know what it really is, Bryce? Because like they're funny, they're not that funny.
They're not.
It's what I'm kind of coming up against. Like, I like 1 in 5 of their jokes. I was like,
why
no,
it's
that
a
was
9, not a 10.
okay. Let's move on. The film overall, what are you giving it out of 10?
This one, honestly, is the one I'm going back and forth.
Probably not a 9.
No, it's not a 9. Like, I want to give it a 6. I don't, like, I know that's nostalgia. It's such nostalgia, and I just have to check myself. So to feel more appropriate, I'm giving it the 5 because I genuinely enjoy this movie. I understand it's not a good movie, but it's fun. Like, as I've already established, Gary Oldman as Ruber, top 3 potential villains in this Disney Renaissance era. And
there's a lot of good in this movie.
There's a lot of good.
And I hope that people can feel our passion for that is not entirely fueled by nostalgia. It is a little bit, but not entirely.
But I feel comfortable giving it a 5.
I'm doing the same. So I'm totally with you on it.
Perfect.
But like for my own experience and just having really enjoyed this film as a child, it's probably more like a 6 or a 7. But if I'm being honest, like a 5 is a more appropriate score.
Yeah.
Now, the last category is X Factor.
So this is where, like, yes, they have the double head. That's very unique to the dragon. And, like, even though, yes, we're eventually going to cover Mushu and Mulan, who is more entertaining than these guys, I have to still give credit in the X Factor. Even though I know that's character, it's still an X Factor that they're funny. And again, I give it a 5. Like, it's
feeling a little low to me.
I know it's low, but it's just, like I said, they're funny, but they're not that funny. They've got the conjoined heads, but we're going to eventually get into Hydras, and Hydras are all about having multiple heads.
Now, I think the distinction here is that they're so distinctly 2 different heads.
True.
Like the design and the voice and the personality of the 2 of them is so very distinct. And I think that's something that we're not going to run into very often.
That's fair.
So to me, it's an 8.
An 8.
An 8 for X Factor. I think this is a very different creature than we're going to run into with most. And I mean, it's not like a runaway, like, what is this? 10 out of 10. But it's different. I think that they have not just one flavor, but 2 flavors, all their own. They're a Trix Rabbit dragon. Am I talking you up at all? I'm giving them the 8.
I'll give them the 6.
It's going to 6
because you're right. They're just so uniquely, like, they have their unique personality. We get the more, like, Cornwall has that more blue collar energy. While Devon definitely has that.
The prim and proper with the monocle.
Yes. And I also do love how Cornwall has that little tuft of hair at the very top of his head.
Yeah. This brings the final score for Devon and Cornwall in the 1998 film Quest for Camelot to a 6.2 out of 10.
Respectable.
Yes, it's kind of being brought down by that 3 on design you gave him, but I'll let it go.
Hey, it's good.
I enjoyed these guys. A good Dragons, good movie. Great time watching this. Even better time talking about it with you.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
That's all for this week's Dragon Lore. Takes cold and hot, spread shore to shore. Enjoyed yourself? Please join the squad. Follow on social media at BigLizPod. And one quick reminder before you go, to rate, review, and share the show. Thank you for listening. It means a lot. See you next week, same time, same spot.